On today's video, let's start talking about the brand new KVK event that is coming out in a day or so. We'll be covering that event extensively on this channel, but this video is more about predictions, things that I think will happen that are based on my observations on the map, micro optimizations that Lilith did to this event, as well as a few other predictions of mine for this. We're also going to go over a little bit about what kind of coverage you're going to see in this channel, and you will have an opportunity in the comments down below to let me know what kinds of information and things you want to see along the way that have to do with this new event. So if you want to hear my predictions, sit back, enjoy the video, drop a like on it, and let's go. Hey there YouTube, welcome back to Gekko Gaming. As light and darkness are upon us, it's time to talk a little bit about this event. The intro for it is here. We'll read through this really quickly, and then let's talk about a few predictions and things that have changed in this game mode, as well as a question for you guys to let me know in the comments down below. What kind of specific detailed information are you looking for when I cover these videos and that I can make available for you guys in the Discord? For example, the reports of all the passes and buildings, what times and how much time is there for each twilight, all that stuff. We're going to track it as much as possible, but you guys need to let me know what you want me to cover in the comments down below. Let's start reading Light and Darkness. We returned to the Lost Kingdom once more, hoping to unveil more secrets within the scraps of the parchments. Beneath a freshly excavated site, we discovered a tunnel left behind by our forefathers. The dark passage pulsated with light as we ventured forth, and the end of it stood a monolith inscribed with ancient runes. When light and darkness intertwine, the gate to conflict and war shall open. And that is essentially the countdown for what I believe will be somewhat like the Eve of the Crusade event. Now, they're probably not going to call it Eve of the Crusade anymore, but if I were to guess, I am assuming that we're going to get a similar event to Eve of the Crusade, which will have Marauders as part of the scraps of parchment. They're still going to be a thing. One first thing that I already want to predict to you guys that I feel like is going to be very, very important is how much will the effect of being able to exchange scraps affect the total outcome of the Marauders. One of the reasons I do not suggest doing Marauders up until now for seasons 1 and 2 of Lost Kingdom is that the more you do them, the more likely you are to get stuck with hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of scraps, which you were never able to exchange before. But now that you're able to exchange scraps with your teammates, with your alliance mates, now this turns a little bit more interesting, as with a little bit of cooperation among teammates or even a very organized alliance, you can actually get the best bang out of your buck. If an R4 feels like making an Excel sheet with everybody and how much they have left over and kind of figure out how to transfer them so everybody gets as many points as possible. Millions and millions of points on pre-KVK are now up for grabs, which previously weren't. And so that's the first thing that I predict is going to be drastic in Lost Kingdom. I feel like there's going to be much more usage of Marauder scraps, which means people are going to get more rewards. I don't think they'll get more points per se. The points are not as significant as the training day. But again, the fact that you will be able to potentially get more chests is a really important one, and I like it. Now, let's talk about another prediction here really quickly. One of the things I noticed about the new map is that they have also added into the new map these, you see these? That's right, that new barbarian event. I feel like we're going to be seeing it in here as well. If we haven't seen it yet popping up, it probably will pop up somewhere in here. The new barbarian event will take place in every stage of KVK, and the more in you go, the stronger they get, and I'm assuming the better rewards you have. So the fact that King's Landing is that small, and yet there are 2 areas for the barbarian event, I actually really dig, and I feel like these are going to be much more influential in the game than before. As of course, this is where you're going to end up getting these new equipment material blueprints, whatever not. And although I don't see the event totems or tums or whatever you want to call it yet in here. I'm assuming that's what these are for, as they are right now in our Lost Kingdom. So the fact that those were added into the map is a good thing. I feel like the drop rate for those is very insignificant, but it's going to be also a place to potentially share, right? There aren't enough buildings for everybody to get everything, but if you decide that an alliance gets a certain building while the other one gets that certain little area of barbarians, that could be an interesting one. So it is existing already in this Lost Kingdom, but I feel like it's going to have much more impact in this Lost Kingdom, as the drop rate is not fantastic, and yet for some weird reason it feels like on this map there are much more opportunities at the higher levels to get more of these barbarian events. So I feel like in this Lost Kingdom that event is actually going to be meaningful. That's right, we're standing in my other prediction somewhere, which in the video we talked about the Lost Kingdom map, the new Lost Kingdom map, card up on the top right for that. I predicted that this is going to be a massive choke point right here in between zones 5s, as this is where in theory these two zones meet each other out to war. And the same can be said about zone 6, which on that video I didn't really talk about that much, but the same is applied in here. This is how zone 6 fight each other out. This is how zone 5 fight each other out. Of course, you can make through here and then go this way. You can do that. But again, the intention is to go through these passes essentially, and that this would be like an area of conflict. I feel like these are a bit, we're going to see either very one-sided situations where these things are taken quite quickly, or we're going to start seeing these gates being deadlocked to a point where people will not necessarily push to be the first ones out, but at the same time, you can very easily lock your opposition in. I feel like one of the things that I talked about was the ability of these guys to lock themselves in their own zone 5. But the other thing that can very easily happen is if these folks pick up these passes quick enough, then they could try to gatekeep these guys out of coming in. I feel like this gatekeeping situation with the barbarians in the passes healing when they defeat one troop that's going to get suicided in it is going to be a huge thing. We're going to definitely see this being either a problem or not, but it's definitely going to be something that's going to be applied either to not let opposition in or to not let people out, essentially. One of the things that are important to point out is that I didn't point this out at all in that video because I found them very insignificant, but there are level 9 passes now between zones 4. Honestly, as far as I'm concerned, these are only going to be like extra point givers, I guess, extra reward givers, as in most cases, by the time level 9 passes open up in past Lost Kingdoms, that would be when zone 4s become unsealed. By that time, most people have already, that are in their zone 4 locked in, have already checked out. So when the opposition comes in through that level 4 pass to get the fortress, it's either there's no fights or there's just a spam of flags that nobody's holding on to. So I don't think these passes will have any significance, but that's a prediction that I'm interested to see if I'm wrong with. I'm wondering if people are still going to try to hold on to their zone 4s more than before. Another prediction that I feel like it's going to be a thing is that I don't believe that there will be a way into zone 4s beyond the level 9 passes. I think that they're not going to let people go in this way unless they do some unsealed thing, but I don't think they will. I think that the idea is that zone 4s can only be accessed like this. In that way, essentially, you eliminate the ability of distributing the forts among people, which now brings another point. I think that the rewards and the way they're going to be divided is going to be completely different in this Lost Kingdom mode. But that might be a little bit of a bigger change than any of us might even see. But that's a small prediction. That's something I think would be cool if there's a way for the Lost Kingdom rewards to not be like, to be the top rewards, you have to own 5 fortresses. That you can get the best available rewards by having the one, and essentially the team that wins each picks up the enemies, the nearby enemies fortress, and that's how you get your rewards. Instead of now dividing the fortresses among people. on the past. And another thing that's interesting is that it could leave an opening for two kingdoms, this one and this one, to cooperate with each other and exchange fortresses for rewards, even though they're on opposite sides. That could be a thing that would happen too. Now, these are some predictions, things that I think we're going to be seeing. I feel like we're going to see a little less emphasis on honor points, individual honor points. Even though I'm seeing more barbarians in lower zones, it just tells me that the idea is not for people to fight for honor points that much per se. It's why they're available already. The level 36 plus are already available in zone 5. And it gives a better chance for more people to be able to compete for the top tier rewards of with the skin and whatnot. And truthfully, that's the skin not being available for people outside, being very hard to get for people who are locked in zone 4 is not a thing that should happen. And having a zone 5 that is kind of easier to keep a hold of potentially is much needed. And so I think we're going to see more emphasis on kingdom and alliance individual honor points rather than individual honor points. Now we're going to cover this Lost Kingdom with this account right here. It has migrated to Kingdom 279. Those guys were kind enough to let us in, and we will be covering Lost Kingdom, the brand new Light and Darkness, as it goes. Now, this is where I need your help. In the comments down below right now, let me know what are specific things, specific information that you're looking for you to get to understand this event better. I want to keep up with the Twilight, how long each event has and all that good stuff. I want to keep up with how the rewards work, how the pre-KVK works. But there are things that other people have mentioned that they're looking to figure out, which I need to know now so I can get ready for. For example, some folks want to know if barbarians, now that there are more barbarians in Zone 5, will they give the same type of rewards or not? Those are the kinds of things that we can already really quickly take a look at as we can see these barbarians in this Zone 5 and see whether or not their drop rate has changed at all. And from my understanding, drop rate hasn't changed almost at all, although we are seeing that I see that the 36s and 37s have the same drop rate and a drop in terms of speed ups. And I'm not entirely sure if this is the same thing that we see in the current Lost Kingdom or not. But keep your eyes on these as, quite frankly, higher level barbarians in Zone 7. Also, look at Zone 5. Look at the levels of level 9 tiles all over this place. It feels like Lost Kingdom has become a much more interesting situation in the lower zones than in the inner zones like before. But you guys need to let me know in the comments down below what are things that you want me to keep up with. And if you see someone else's comments which are something that you want, like their comments so I see the most liked comments of things that all of you want me to do and cover and all that. I'm going to try my best to make, kind of like in first Lost Kingdom, a video for everything to make sure if things changed or not. Every building, every pass and all that, we're going to compare it to their old Lost Kingdom and see if anything changed, evolved along the way. We'll have all the rally reports, everything you need to know in the Discord. So of course, if you haven't joined our Discord, link in the description down below. I'm super excited to keep up with LFAM, TT, TKO, and the rest of the folks of Kingdom 79 at 279 as they go through this Lost Kingdom. And hopefully I did not put a target on their backs. That could be a thing. And I hope you guys join us along for the ride. And of course, for that, you need to make sure you subscribe to the channel and you turn on the bell so you get a notification every time I upload a new video. I'm Gekko. I'm out of here. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. I appreciate every single one of you. Dropped a like on it, subscribed to the channel, left me a comment, as well as just watched it. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys sooner rather than later. Enjoy the rest of your week and take care.